per se.
Yeah, not necessarily. And if you're going to draft it, draft something else elsewhere. Get that damage profile and just some range, man. Be able to actually fight back when you're jostling for position around these objectives, or get yourself a better pick composition, right? Like, there are a few different options here, a few different ways that you can go. As Damwon will jump onto the blue side yet again. GenG probably pretty happy with this. Of course, they elected to go onto the red side the first time around. Damwon wanting to try and leverage this first pick a little bit better this time. Last time was the first pick Ryze, and then they drafted a very short-range comp into Jace, and, you know, shenanigans ensued.
A lot of respect to the Leona here this time around as well, taking that one away straight off the bat here.
Yeah, it was Caitlyn, Zeri, and Ahri that were banned on the blue side by Damwon last time.
Interesting.
Now it looks like we've got a different idea.
As Canyon will definitely not get to play the Hecarim this best of 3. We knew that was going to be true.
Yep.
It's interesting to see Ahri banned against Ophelia because he's not a player who's proven himself on the champion just yet. In fact, only played it once in Challengers and lost. So even though Ahri is very strong right now and has a lot of pick potential, and with a jungler like Peanut, you can make that sort of stuff happen, I do think that priority should be elsewhere. I like the Jace ban, actually, because Doran's been playing it so much. He played it so well last game, so much more than the isolated Ahri.
Yeah. There are no counter picks as well to the Jace. They don't exist.
It's impossible to counterpick.
Yeah, no, it's actually impossible. It just wins every lane no matter what. As Caitlyn going to be the second ban here on GenG's side. Not wanting to let that one go through.
I mean, yeah, jokes aside, if nobody ever does counterpick you, like, why wouldn't anybody just first pick Jace every game? Because you just win the lane and you get a lot of value. As this time it's gone. Caitlyn's removed here too. As we'll see the Aphelios taken away from Ruler. So going down a little bit deeper into this pool with the Hecarim banned. If they ban Ryze here, GenG, then I wouldn't be surprised if we see like Duck Dom Jinx early on in this game. But the Ryze is once again left open. You mentioned the Twisted Fate skin in Game 1. They will once again put the focus on that instead.
Yep. Damwon can take either the Jinx or the Ryze. Those are their two choices, and it looks like the Ryze will be the option here. Don't know how much I agree with it, but now with the predominance of this Kai'Sa pick, it might be that the Jinx is a little bit less safe, because we've seen it picked into these Jinx compositions so many times.
Yeah, I mean,
allowing you to just jump into that backline and destroy her. Not necessarily if she's being piloted by Gumayusi, but
yeah, Gumayusi showed us some really cool stuff though. I mean, that was such a fantastic game with that AP build from aiming. You know, he did decide to ult in the last moment under a lot of pressure, and everything all came down at once. But that was a really fun game to watch. So we see the Jinx locked in here.
Yep,
man,
this is Ruler as well.
Also a champion that's fairly punishable by Ryze Realm Warps if you have a strong jungle that comes with it and can dive very aggressively onto the Jinx that's sitting back. And we'll see what ends up coming here in the bottom side of the map for Damwon Kias. I love the Nautilus because you want to play defensively around this bottom side of the map, but you also gain a lot of turn and initiation with this. Yeah. I'd rather see this than a jungle pick right now because you want to react to what Canyon's playing first with this Ryze. And Nautilus is going to be great on both counts, defensively and offensively.
I just really don't want to see the Xayah. That is...
Ezreal Karma, please?
I mean, Ezreal Karma sounds like decent.
Finally! I literally said this to you after the game, but I was like, I don't know why AD carries just don't want to play Ezreal anymore.
Yeah, well,
there it is.
Apparently, Doc Dom and Kellen want to jump on the Ezreal Karma hype train, and of course, a lot of lane power now on the bottom side of the map.
Lane power, priority against a Jinx who has, you know, not a ton she can do when she's not laning with Nautilus here, unless there's a mistake on the side of Doc Dom and Kellen. Ryze can use that extra prio to Realm Warp down there and look to dive the Jinx, or force her to walk away from the turret, losing CS, losing control. And with Hecarim banned, there's not a lot of recourse here, as Lee Sin will be the choice for Peanut in this game, so changing it up here.
Kind of like it. Now they get the ability to ban away as many of the picks into the Lee Sin as they would like. Wouldn't mind a Jarvan ban, as of course Peanut had such a great Jarvan game, and Canyon very good at the pick as well.
It's his most played, actually, this season.
Yeah.
And believe it or not, even more than the Diana that is now banned away. Diana, not going to be as big of a threat on the bottom side of the map, but will be extremely powerful with an already great scaling composition here for Damwon Kia, so I think that's the reason they choose it, rather than its power to Realm Warp dive. Sometimes you can pull that one off, but not as easy as other junglers, like the Jarvan you mentioned.
And they want to try and remove any sort of engage that you can grab from the jungle as well, just because there is a Karma on the side of Damwon, so GenG probably wanting to opt in there. Ari going to be taken away from Ophelia.
Still taken away Ophelia's Ari. Somewhat of a puzzling choice. Very strong with the Lee Sin and the Nautilus. You have a lot of pick power, and W8D1's comp outside the Rise so far kind of squishy. I'd love to see just another Victor ban. Like, just take that away from Ophelia. Don't let him play that. You already have a great late game scaling Jinx. Just take the Victor away. Make sure he can't just sit and farm and then do damage by default, which has kind of been his MO. Oh, the Jarvan ban is good. This is some good drafting from both teams.
Yep, trying to figure these things out. 20 seconds now until W8D1 decide on their 5th and final ban. I think Victor's probably a pretty comfortable one. Try and get more out of Ophelia. Because, of course, Victor is definitely as much comfort as possible.
Another one could be the Zillion here, I suppose, if you really are worried about Jinx popping off in those later fights. But they actually end up taking away the Graves.
All right.
Interesting.
Wonder what that indicates for
because it used to indicate a Tryndamere pick, but these days not so much. Okay.
Okay. So Galio will be locked in. That will be putting... yeah, that will be in the mid lane as well. It's not like it's a support flex or anything like that, because Nautilus has already been locked in. So we're really doubling down on the early stages, and with, you know, a low range mid laner like the Rise, does allow you to create that zone of control. Xin Zhao has certainly fallen down the priority list in the jungle this week thus far, but will be locked in here the 4th time of asking on the blue side.
And neither of these jungle players have prioritized as much as the rest of the junglers in the LCK.
True.
As well. Especially Peanut. I think he's like only played it once.
Is it blind Gwen time?
Well, I like the Gwen here more than the Tryndamere because you have a lot of range damage with the Ezreal. Rise has a good front line. Gwen's going to love the CC he provides.
I like this.
Gragas
so
is a great
much
call. Yeah, it's a lot of magic damage. They deny the Camille instead, because this was the other thing they could have done, which is just take the Camille away from the Galio, because otherwise you have a huge problem keeping your Ezreal and or Karma alive in these subsequent team fights, because Galio dives in, then Camille ults, then you have the follow-up depth charge. Jinx gets 1 kill in any of that. Doesn't matter who dies. She gets a kill, she gets excited, you win the front to back.
Are we
Jax or Fiora?
Yeah, and it's the Fiora that comes out from Doran. I love this.
Well, this is the hype game, too. Like, Game 1's draft was pretty vanilla, pretty boring.
Yeah.
This is the hype draft. This is the one where we get to see Birdall clash against Doran in the top side of the map with a really exciting matchup with the Camille. We get to see Ophelia pull out this Galio. You know, not a champion he's known for, and he hasn't played it at all this year. He's playing a matchup into one of the best Rises in the world, the best Rise statistically here in the LCK early on when it first started getting more popular. And it's not going to be an easy matchup with the wave clear problems that Galio will face. But the late game the Jinx has, the long range engage support they have, plus Fiora's ultimate actually adding a lot to this comp too if they get a single pick. This is going to be a spicy one.
That's really, really cool. I like what they've done. I like the denial from W8D1 here, but when you're drafting for denial, then you're not necessarily crafting exactly the composition that you want. However, this time around, they've got Camille. She's going to be splitting on the side of the map instead of the Graves that we saw from Birdall, and Birdall is very comfortable on this Camille as well. So I think it will be a decent test for Doran there towards the top side. We'll see whether those riposts are going to be on point.
I feel like if we want to be really nitpick, they could have done this the opposite order and picked the Camille first if they really wanted to play the Camille Galio, that is GenG, and then play the Galio later on. It would have been impossible to deny that pick. But, you know, we'll see how they play this one out at the end of the day. Maybe they didn't want the
yeah, I don't think you necessarily need the Camille. I don't think she's the massive, you know, point of power in that particular combination. And Ophelia just wanting to clear waves. And as the game goes on, I mean, the Rise is going to threaten the Galio less and less and less. As Birdall has taken the Ignite in this lane as well, wants to give himself as much power as possible.
Also Predator for the Galio, which we see all the time.
Yep.
Very strong choice here. Oh, this is going to be a slapper of a game. I tell you what.
Oh, you told me. You told me.
I'm excited about it, and we'll see how lucky Doran gets with the weak spot. Trolling has been a thing that's happened to him a lot.
Yep. Basically, what we like to say is the first 3 weak spots determine whether or not the Fiora is going to win the lane. Because if they're always facing away from her, then the powers that be have determined that Fiora is not supposed to win in this instance.
Yeah. It's RNG's this kind of deciding the way of things. It's a very volatile matchup, one that we see actually kind of rarely, as the Jax is the more common counter pick here in the LCK. Eventually, it was more common in the LEC and in China.
Yep.
Taking off recently. As you can see, hasn't worked out so well for the Fiora because her utility isn't as great for team fights later on. However, his split pushing can be just as strong as Camille's.
Yep, ward goes over. Showmaker spotting out exactly where Peanut is starting. Yeah, well, I'm very interested. As you can see, the first one pointed right towards Doran, so things looking good for the Fiora lane right now. Everything looking bad for the GenG bottom lane, but that is a dredge line that will connect. Kellen taking a lot of damage here as Docdarm doesn't find that Mystic Shot, and Damwon are going to lose out on this trade for now. Q also going to go wide there as GenG able to fight back, but...
Get the control of the bush, though, which is always where you want to be with the Ezreal Camille, or sorry, not Camille, Karma. Yeah, a lot of K sounds.
It does have a K at the beginning.
Yeah, so Kellen, who also has a K,
yeah, K.
is going to sit in this brush and we'll just take pot shots and will be very obnoxious to deal with. And that's the power that you get with Ezreal Karma. Going to be able to shore up your own amount of range damage later on in the game. We'll see if Peanut can punish this, because he was extremely successful last game at punishing some overextensions from Docdarm and Kellen. Ooh, look at that.
That is a great win rate.
That is total, not just this season.
Yeah.
I don't think we've seen 6 Gallios this season, but what I'm trying to say is it's not a product of Rise's bad start this year.
And that wasn't even the matchup when Chovy had his super play on the Galio. It's very interesting that Ophelia is subbing for the guy that probably has one of the biggest plays that we have here in the LCK on a Galio when he was playing against GenG a while ago. It was definitely a really fun one.
Yeah.
As Peanut not going to get spotted by the Scryer's Bloom, as Canyon's going to aim it a little bit off.
See if he can get his own 3-man tot legendary moment. You know, we already had Quid play the Yone mid and had an okay game.
Well, Peanut, he wants to get this steal. But no, he's just going to stand here, waits for a potential...
well, now he can go bottom.
Oh, this is so cute.
If he hides where he's going, well, he's going mid instead.
Yeah, it's Peanut immediately moving towards this brush and trying to stay out of vision. He's so patient as the Q is going to connect. Showmaker gets the phase rush, isn't going to have to flash, but does lose out when it comes to the HP. He'll have to go for an early teleport.
Yeah, early teleport forced here. No summoners burned. Phase rush not actually taken this time around. It's the unsealed spellbook, so he's a little bit more vulnerable than he would be in a lot of different other matchups.
Oh yeah, true.
But he does find his way back into the lane, and it was an opportunity for Peanut to go bottom, but you know, you really have to skirt around vision and stuff like that if you pull that one off, so does not actually decide to go for it. Still a successful gank, just not going to lead to a kill.
Yeah. Can't believe I was like, it must be phase rush.
Well, I also thought it was. Like, I was like saying that I had to double check. I'm like, wait, no, I actually did take unsealed.
Yeah, so that's it's of course what Showmaker does every time. I'm just used to them having it. As Docdarm finds a few shots onto Ruler here. Kellen happy to tank up some Flame Chompers, and it looks like the Ezreal Karma lane is doing exactly what it says on the tin for now. Showmaker gets back to lane here as he's chasing after Ophelia. And he's just going to tidy up the mini wave. So Showmaker's Rise still doing great things here in this laning phase.
You know, post 6 is when things are going to get really interesting, because I feel that we'll be able to match some of those Realm Warp rotations with the Galio, which is part of the reason why we see this so often into the Rise, and why we've talked about it a lot during different Rise metas over the years when Realm Warp is a thing. Also see it into the Twisted Fate sometimes for the same reason, and it's somewhat of a pylon comp here for GenG, but it's not the all-in version of it. And Ophelia will have a lot of utility in this comp because he can also defend against the Camille, because the Camille's counter-picked to deny that combo. But then she's very weak into the Galio, in fact, because he can taunt her. So it's somewhat of a catch-22 problem here for Damwon with this Camille in that regard.
Yep. Ophelia does manage to hit level 6 first, but Showmaker grabs it immediately afterwards. So very, very even here in this mid lane. As, yeah, passive, just trying to get as much done as possible. That is a bit of a shame, as we can grab some -1s in the chat. You guys do not mind?
It happens, you know.
Yep, Doran doesn't quite get the lunge just there. Somewhat off. Tactical sweep comes on through here, as Bertolt's having a pretty good time in this lane. But Doran, with a few more minions to tidy up, will be able to reclaim his advantage. Hopefully we see Trinity Force from Doran.
That's the expectation, especially with the nerfs. They'd come through to the Sunder.
Yep. Ooh, Ruler now taking a lot of damage. Lahen's going to block the Mystic shots as best he can, wanting to save the Summoner spells. They do get the heal out from Ruler.
This should guarantee a Drake, though, and this punished the fact that Ruler and Lahen's were pushing up super far, trying to look for a hook, and actually we're continuing to try to trade against this Karma Ezreal, not respecting the power that this duo brings, and a Manfred Q just puts a ton of damage off there. They commit the Ignite. Now they're forced out of lane, which costs them to lose not only Drake, but also a lot of plates down here, potentially.
No cannon either, so this is going to be a lot of minions lost. 2 plates definitely going to go down, as you can see all these caster minions bearing down on this turret.
And it's, you know, Ezreal Karma push, this is what you expect, and if you get punished, like we saw there from Kellen, it's just so much power. Now you have to come down and tidy this up, which means the Rift Herald is a problem.
Yep, stun going to land here onto Peanut, as he desperately wants to steal away this blue buff. Canyon in this area, not going to go for any dives just yet, as Ruler able to find a bit of farm. 10 CS is going to be the lead after they sent Ruler back home. And Galio making his way back as well, as Lahen's moving forward. And I feel he's going to show once again. So it does mean that Damwon Kia can now feel free to go even more aggressive here on the bottom side, knowing that there's not going to be a big old gargoyle coming down from the sky.
Yep, that's always the fear.
Yep.
Realm Warp is up, and Showmaker's hiding himself right now. It's kind of a tricky thing you can do. Scare your opponents out of some farm, and then just come back to the wave, because Ryze has such great wave clear. He just pushes the wave in, then he disappears, and you're like, oh, he could be anywhere, and we have to all respect him, and then he just comes back to lane and does it again.
Yep. Oh, man. It's almost up to a 3rd plate here, as Peanut is going to start up the Rift Herald. But as you can see here on the bottom side, Damwon Kia not too worried about it. True Shot Barrage going to connect onto Ruler as well.
Showmaker is still just kind of clearing up some vision, being a threat here that Ruler and Lahen's have to respect, which means another plate goes down. So what Peanut picks up on the Rift Herald will not equalize the amount of value that Kellen and Duckdom got in this Karma Ezreal lane. We finally see teams, at least Damwon Kia, pick this when the Jinx is picked so early in a draft. And I like this way more than the Xayah. So much more power, so much more control.
No, I like it a lot as well.
And
the old Ruler, I think, yeah, Canyon is going to spot him out. Ruler immediately gets out. As When Becomes Lightning is going to be there. As Lahen's, yeah, I don't know whether he's going to be able to make it here. Does still have his flash available, but it does not matter. That's first blood going over to Canyon as he wanders towards the bottom side, and they'll grab themselves a turret at the same time. This is a fantastic start this time for Damwon, as Peanut going to steal away a Gromp, but that's probably not going to even it out.
The problem, too, about this Rift Herald take is obviously the 2 plates are never going to equalize this. It's going to be a full plate, and they can actually lane swap. Even if Fiora picks up these plates here, you don't feel like you've gained the same amount of value, because Camille can default just do very well later on. You know, if you're going to be accelerated, hold that thought. If you can make this dive work, it's worth.
Yeah, that's a Justice Punch as Ophelia going to try and run his way out. They do manage to get a whole bunch of plates. They're not going to be able to equalize the first turret going down at sub 10 minutes, but still, getting money onto Fiora is very, very important for the GenG composition.
They denied some CS, but the Ezreal gold is way more valuable than the Fiora gold isolated in a team composition like what Damwon Kia are running into what GenG have, because also they denied Ruler some farm, so he fell further behind, slowed down the Jinx at the same time. He's got an early Essence Reaver now, and he's going to continue to push the top side of the map. Whereas, you know, Fiora picking up those plates isn't going to make her suddenly have kill pressure in the bottom lane here against the Camille. Isn't going to be able to do anything just yet. Speeds her up, and it is valuable. But Damwon Kia just winning on all fronts right now. 2,000 gold up with only 1 kill onto the Nautilus.
Bit of a zoom. Thank you very much, Jonas Strong.
We appreciate those.
Yep, we definitely do. As Ruler will catch the
Duckdom!
Yeah, Depth Charge. Going to block him, and Super Mega Death Rocket sails in. They get the dab out of Peanut, and GenG are on the board. That was just a bit of a whoopsie.
Yeah, just not checking, not respecting whatsoever. It's a flash depth charge onto an Ezreal, and Ezreal does feel pretty safe in moments like this because he's got
I think he also face planted his Arcane Shift into the wall as well.
Yeah, he messed it up. Well, suddenly, now this is actually going to be Ruler picking up this top turret, so that's the gold you want.
Yeah, when becomes Lightning, Doran does have Grand Challenge and the Riposte, so it's going to be difficult for Canyon to do too much here, but Ruler grabs some money for this turret. And you can see Doran just playing some weak side Fiora here towards this bottom side. It does mean that Bertle is going to get the work done. As let's have a look. Yeah, Arcane Shift into the wall.
Yeah, unfortunately. I think he is probably dead either way, but... Seal ends his first versus view. I think he's going to come. And he just ults him. He gets the follow-up route. Rocket looks to get the kill, but it's actually Peanut who takes it away. You don't feel too bad about that, but it would have been nice if Jinx picked up the money. Duck Dom just immediately is like, well, I guess I'll get played mid, you know, whatever.
Yeah, doesn't manage to do that at least.
He's still significantly ahead in gold, but a lot of the lead he had was kind of washed away there.
Well, it's going to be second Drake. GenG, of course, gave up the first 2 and then took the remaining 4 last time around. We'll see whether that is something they're going to be able to do, because once again, very happy to scale with this composition. They've got Jinx, they've got like so much peel for Ruler, and at the same time they have the Fiora win condition, who by herself is always a win condition no matter what, because in the late game you put 6 items on Fiora, it's very difficult for anyone in the known universe to 1v1 her.
Yep, and she will push very, very hard and very fast down these lanes and will threaten inhibitors later on.
Peanut.
He's going to be all right. This is quite a close game right now, as Damo and Kia have a pretty nice lead in terms of Drakes. The big difference between this game and the first 2 Drakes that Damo get versus the last, because it's also Infernal, which is kind of hilarious, like we're doing this again, is that GenG last time had the much better scaling comp and things turned around really quickly, and Peanut had a massive lead. He does have 1 kill this game, and GenG do have a great scaling comp, but so do Damo and Kia, right? Damo and Kia have this Ezreal, they have a Karma to speed up the Camille engages and stuff like that, so, you know, it's not as clean cut of a, okay, well now it's GenG's time. We passed the 20-minute mark. It's not quite like that this game round.
No, not necessarily. I think that GenG have, I guess, the less difficult to play composition when it comes to the later stages of the game, just because you play frontline for Ruler and Ruler kills everyone. Meanwhile, Doran is theoretically beating Bertle in a side lane. That is sort of like the game plan here for GenG. But Damo and Kia, they demonstrated in the last game, doesn't even matter whether they have fallen behind, they can still find some pretty good team fights as long as they don't have any mishaps with blast cones and such as that.
Yeah. Double Sunderer game on the top side of the map, by the way. Very sad.
Yeah.
A little bit less interesting than the Trinity Force we were hoping for, but, you know, take it. It's a good item, just not as good as it used to be.
Yep. It's fine.
It's okay.
And it's sort of a gentleman's agreement as well, so I guess in all chat they were like, Sunderer, is that what we're doing? Just to make sure that there's as much honor in the top lane as possible?
Yeah, like if Doran is divine and I'm not, I can't handle that.
Yeah.
Vice versa.
Yep.
Nice clear on the vision here as Doran is finally starting to put some pressure on the bottom side of the map with Peanut together. And this could lead to a pick potentially if Bertle steps over the line. Peanut does have flash kick.
Hextech Ultimatum is available, going to be very important to use that effectively as the Realm Warp is going to come through. It does mean Showmaker turns up. It's a great 2-man taunt though as the Grand Challenge goes down. Everyone's getting healed, and once again, Showmaker teleports to the bottom lane, but this time there's no double kill for him. It's a double kill for GenG. Damo and Kia though will push here in this mid lane. They'll be able to get this out of turret. I just don't know whether it was worth it.
Yeah, in a lot of these moments, like we saw this from Showmaker, right? The last time the dive went down on the bottom side, he teleported to the turret before he had unleashed and was able to turn that one around. This is not that scenario, because this time you'll be matched by a Galio who will taunt you. And when you put that Realm Warp down, if you actually take it, you are telling GenG, like, I'm going to give you a kill because you know exactly how to set up this taunt. It's free. It's not even a skill moment. It's just like Ophelia presses his button and they make it happen.
Well, Zap going to connect there onto Dr. As there's a max range dredge line. Depth charge comes through. Yet another taunt comes down for Ophelia. As, oh no, he hadn't even finished taking the Rift Herald. As now Canyon has to ult himself, but 1 versus 4. Yes, Crescent Guard is a pretty good ability, but it ain't that good. Ruler's going to Gale Force, gets on top of the Xin Zhao. And he picks up the eye, so there's that for Canyon, but this game's starting to fall apart for Damo and Kia.
Oh man, the deep teleport here from Doran as well. If they actually overextend here, there's a flank angle.
Okay, they find the Hextech Ultimatum onto Ruler. He's really dead. Now Peanut trying to escape from the area. You can see the Fiora rotating around.
This is kind of an awkward moment where they set play from GenG just backfires completely. Like they didn't know he was flanking his Showmaker?
Yep, just wanders to the left, and that is going to be his way of countering the taunt. I like it.
It's crazy how that last play happened because the positional error, quote-unquote, for Ruler is in part due to... Well, hold on, let's go back to this first. As the teleport comes through from the Galio.
Okay.
Okay.
And he's like, I'm going. Taunts him. Nice. And Showmaker just walked into this one, unfortunately. As this is funny because Ruler's positioning is an error because he's trying to set up a play with Doran. Or no, we're not there yet. We're going back to this one as well.
Yeah, we're in this one now as Flame Chompers were good. And then they get the kill onto Canyon.
Yeah, meanwhile, in live, I don't know if we'll ever get to that replay I was talking about before. It's like we do have a setup here on the Drake. Okay, this is when Ruler and Peanut are trying to make that play with Doran, and actually just an insta-punish from Duckdom without even knowing where Doran is. He's like, why are you up here?
The hunter became the hunted
yes.
very swiftly there in that moment. Definitely a good clapback from Damwon Kia. GenG retain 1,000 gold lead.
Birdall has teleport. He's not here yet.
Duckdom doesn't have a mythic yet. Here in the LCK, we really like crowns, but I know there's a lot of people that have been calling for some Prowler's Claws. And maybe, just maybe, Duckdom is going to do it. We'll have to see. Doran getting himself around here as this is the first Infernal of the game. Zap not going to connect there as in goes Lahens, finds the Hex Flash immediately. Canyon is going to ult to try and get himself as safe as possible. The Drake is going to lose interest in this fight completely, as Damwon Kia starting to get some control here of the river, but they do not have the ulti from Canyon. It's very important
Birdall has
for these team fights. Yeah, Birdall waiting for that Hextech ultimatum opportunity as Lahens finds himself into the backline. The riposte is fantastic as Doran gets himself over the wall, then back again. All of Damwon vacate the area, and Peanut just secures the Drake. All right, I guess that's a way to get it. Realm Warp now to try and get Showmaker in here as Lahens, I think he'll be going down first. Yes, Showmaker collects that one. Now Ophelia in a lot of trouble. Justice Punch will be blocked by Duckdom. Somehow Ophelia walks out. I have no idea how. Safeguard makes sure that he's going to be all right, and True Shot Barrage very close to coming up.
I don't think he can hit this one. He has no idea.
Oh, he has to guess. Let's see. Jonas Strong, show it to us. Not gonna happen.
He was looking for the back timing. Well played.
Ophelia
waited.
He knew. Crying chicken right now.
Oh man, that was scary for a second. But this is a win in the team fight for Damwon Kia. They take back the gold lead, and this is something that their 2 Drake lead allows them to afford. Is a lost Drake, but a 1 team fight. As yeah, that was
Shirley just I don't know.
She was like, remember me, guys?
Yeah.
But this is the more important pressing issue here is Doran's angle here on the left side of the fight really shuts down a lot of the damage from Duckdom because he's struggling to get in. Then they push this away, and then the re-engage is actually really nice here from GenG. Lahens also on the backside of this fight.
An absolute
and he Hex flashes it. Doran's on the left side here. Birdall has to go over the wall. And with the Hextech ultimatum, he does, and they do end up killing Doran, but they lose control of the Drake. But this is by no means a one fight for GenG. They're like, okay, we got the Drake, time to evacuate. And it's an insane chase comp because they have Realm Warp, they have Ezreal. And the fact that some of these GenG players actually get out of here is kind of miraculous, to be honest.
I mean, Ophelia getting out of here is definitely miraculous. It's absolutely true. Gets the fat flash over the wall.
After his punch was blocked as well. And the True Shot Barrage does not connect. But Damwon Kia are not feeling like they've lost the momentum this game round because they still win the fight. They still have an Ezreal who's ahead. It's the next one and the next few. If you start losing some of those Drakes or GenG start winning fights, that's when the composition of GenG could start to win. And if Doran starts to get some side laning for free, is escorted by Peanut in moments like this, if you turn this into a kill with the ult that Ophelia has coming up soon, like there are ways for this game to get out of control once again for GenG.
We're having a look at the Damwon Kia vision as Birdall catches this wave. Doran gets himself around, and with the Demolish, this is what Fiora does best.
Ophelia has teleport.
She loves killing turrets. As Peanut moves in here, is spotted by Birdall, is now Showmaker over to the side, does have Realm Warp, was looking for a way in potentially, but they see that they're backing away. Canyon's going to stop moving down.
I love this duo of Peanut and Doran pushing when Ophelia has teleport, because as we saw last time, if he just teleports in and sets up for a taunt when Showmaker comes on top to Realm Warp in, or anyone else who joins that Realm Warp, can definitely turn that in an instant. And as a result, you have this immense amount of pressure against the Camille in this 2v2, which is like pseudo a 3v3. And it makes Damwon Kia think twice about using this Ryze pick aggressively after what happened to Showmaker last time. So you're getting a small edge here, a little bit of vision control on the bottom side of the map that comes with it.
Yep, 2 minutes on this Drake. The Baron hasn't really been looked at, has been alive for a minute thus far. As Doran's going to find a bit of a lunge here onto Bertle. Peanut going to move on over as well. Big win thus far as they get the hook shot out of Bertle. And now Doran, I mean, if he gets any sort of amount of free time with this inner turret, it's really rough.
And he's going to force down a lot of resources, right? He gets the True Shot Barrage, he gets the Xin Chao rotation, and they just walk away. They have deep wards here, and if anyone comes up here, they could get picked. Looking for the red buff as well. I don't think they'll be so lucky on that one.
That's a difficult one. As if the engage does come through, remember, heroic entrance is a thing. You can see Ophelia towards the north as Flash has to come out. And now Doran gets towards that backline. There's the grand challenge. Heroic entrance will come in. It's a great Hextech ultimatum to negate all of that CC. Great kickback there from Peanut as he looks for Bertle. But Bertle's so incredibly low, but will still survive. 2 already dead on the side of GenG, but there are low health bars on Damwon, and they do not want to push any further forward into the Jinx.
I mean, Damwon just keep winning these scrappy fights and just barely. 2 kills for none here. They will back off. Those the low health bars here. There's going to be a full reset, and it's going to be a race to get Drake Prio here as soon as all of these members come back alive, because this is the really important moment for Damwon to take Soul Point and to win this fight decisively. Now, GenG, they stayed a little bit late here, and they had enough deep vision to where they could have tried to turn a lot of picks. But when Showmaker is also here, this is a bridge too far from Doran. He gets on top of Duckdom, yes, but it's an Ezreal, and there's a lot of lockdown here for Damwon's composition. So definitely a big overextension and an attempted turn that, quite frankly, GenG's comp is not online enough. Their AD carry is not strong enough just yet to where this is a turn you want to make. In 5-10 minutes time, 100% you get on top of Duckdom like that, you blow him up early, it works out for you. Damwon have the Drake Prio, and GenG are going to try to trade it for a Baron.
Yeah, they're going to just walk over here. Of course, it's Soul Point, not Soul, right, that they're fighting for. And GenG just popped themselves over the wall. You can see Damwon, no idea of what's going on here. Good riposte, but it's not going to be enough. Doran not able to get out. And now Lehens is backing away.
And they
Peanut and Ruler are still here, still trying to take this Baron, as it is going to be Damwon that do take the Drake. So
they ping it, they know, but they just don't. They have no way of stopping this, unfortunately. So they're like, okay, can we catch them here? They're going to look for a catch with the Realm Warp. They might be able to get some of these players.
All right, so the heist is completed, and GenG, they just sacrificed their Fiora to make sure that, you know, they don't give anything away. I liked it from Doran. I assume it was all planned.
It's insanely crazy to make a play like that against a Rise team, because they can actually kind of double objective and come over and punish you. And I think the realization was so late that they did not actually commit to the Realm Warp there, and they knew that the rest of GenG was going to get out. This is Doran getting picked on the sell, right, where they're trying to sell, oh, we're just trying to get Drake Prio. We want to go for this.
Not
so
quite
the
as
sacrifice
good
is good.
Yeah, not quite as good as when T1 did it, because I don't think they lost anyone, but still pretty good. On the side of GenG as Canyon looks for a bit of engage. Does get zapped as now Lehens trying to get himself out of here. It's not going to work. Duckdom secures that kill, and now Doran looking for Bertle here on the bottom side. Peanut trying to work out exactly which is the best way to go. So the lunge is going to come through. Bertle holding onto the ult, but Doran does get his. Now Bertle's going to try and use Peanut as a taxi. This is played so beautifully, though. Super Mega Death Rocket comes on down as now Ruler going to have to deal with Canyon moving in. Good kickback, though, from Peanut. We'll make sure that they can't chase. Flame Choppers don't arm in time, but Showmaker's not going to be able to do it. And meanwhile, yeah, BBQ Chicken going to be taking down this inner turret as best he can. Teleport going to come forward.
Can they turn this into a kill?
Oh, no, doesn't get the taunt quite. And they will be able to take the turret.
Still successful in that regard.
Yep.
But GenG need to be so careful about just walking out and overextending, trying to get picks in these side lanes, because yes, you have a Fiora, and that is one of your win conditions, is to try to set up, have Peanut's help or have Felia's help to actually grab kills. But if Damwon have this much control over the map, and you take this long to kill a Camille who can ult to buy so much time, you're going to end up trading down in these fights where Damwon are just getting more and more gold, more and more control over the map. It will at least take that one turret off, and GenG are not that far behind in gold. But they need to make sure that they don't make this mistake before this next Drake fight, because they cannot afford to give over this Infernal Soul to Damwon. It's one of their biggest win conditions right now. The Ezreal did go for the crown, as you were mentioning. And he is well and truly online in this game, and they have such a tanky front line for him.
I think, do you know why Doran got caught? I think he misunderstood when the coach said, let's play 1-3-1. Because yes, that is 1-3-1. However, it's not the way we want to do it.
Yeah, just a bit of an overextension. Once again, trying for this again, but you've got to be so careful about this into a Rise. Got to be so careful about this into Damwon comp that's super online, very mobile. with a Karma to chase. You know, if it was a different comp or a slower support, then you can get away with this and then escape, but Dom1Kia keep trading up in these. Gold lead gets bigger and bigger. Again, still very small at the moment. The key is going to be this upcoming fight.
Yep. Not to mention the fact that if Ruler gets caught, it is very, very difficult for GenG to find any sort of teamfight win after that. And Dom is going to be able to self-peel so effectively. So really, really cool. I really like how this game is sort of developing. Yes, I still feel like GenG has an edge when it comes to late in the game. But Dom1Kia, they're a team that has been able to, you know, make magic happen.
They certainly have, and if they get a you know, Drake here, this 4th Drake, get the soul, like that's going to be a lot of magic dust they could sprinkle over GenG in these upcoming team fights. It's going to give their comp so much extra power later on, and the ability for Dom to just absolutely pop off and carry every single team fight is what they're looking for.
By the way, GenG had Baron. What did it do?
They got about 1,000 to 1,200 gold off of it. Didn't use it very well because of those picks, and the fact that they died before they took it, like they ended up losing Doran. They didn't have a ton of Baron buffs to use there. It was kind of an awkward situation because they traded a Drake for a Baron but also lost players. So it keeps them somewhat even in terms of the gold. It definitely helped in that regard, but was not a significant one by any means. To answer your question.
Yep.
I know you had asked it kind of facetiously, but
yeah.
I did want to explain that it didn't go so well.
It did not. It certainly did not. As now we're setting up for a Drake. This is still soul point for Dom1Kia. If they get themselves an Infernal Drake, it's going to be very, very difficult for GenG to find their way back.
Yep, this is the big fight. This is probably the game decider. It's going to push one of these two teams into a massive advantage one way or the other. Give GenG enough map control to finally use this comp to its fullest potential, or give Dom1Kia that Infernal Soul.
Yeah, there's the Grand Challenge actually issued very, very early in this one. Doran gonna have to flash, get himself out of the way, but it's not going to be enough. Now Bertel is bearing down on Lehens. Double kill comes forward for the top laner of Dom1Kia, and the Drake hadn't even spawned yet, and GenG are already getting obliterated. Heroic entrance, not so heroic from the Death Chamber, unfortunately, as Canyon gonna try and get out of there, and he is going to succeed.
Look at Dom's damage in this fight. Over 3,500, I think he did it in the end in total. And now that he's got an Infernal Soul, that number is just going to get higher and higher.
Yeah.
And for Doran, he saw blood in the water. He saw an opportunity to try to get on top of a carry here, but it's not. Ryze is not a carry in this meta. He's actually a tank, and trying to go over the wall and kill this extremely tanky Ryze just leads to disaster. And he's clearing a ward, but Bertel's nearby. He's Ryze. Like, look at Doran's health bar. Like, if Bertel's not here, he still probably has to flash the wall, but there's so much damage fall-off. Dom snipes him on his way back in. And the fight is lost at this moment because you are now down a player. They have the choke point controlled. It's just like a Doran overextension.
Yeah, it felt like it was lost when Peanut missed the Q, because I think that there might have been like a potential kick play or something like that that would have made Doran look less silly, but instead we got what we got. As Canyon, Wind Becomes Lightning, going to slow down Lehens as he tries to get away, but now Dom1Kia moving towards some pretty real advantages. Infernal Soul, absolutely massive, 2,000 gold. Not huge here at 30 minutes into the game, but Dom1Kia are able to walk into the enemy jungle, steal away camps. They should be able to grab themselves a Baron as well. As Peanut looking to try and safeguard his way out of this one, is going to be able to do so successfully for now. GenG, I mean, I guess now what you're looking for is an Elder Flip or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, you certainly are, but it's going to be so hard. And you're never going to have another opportunity to try to get a pick like that unless you have Drake Prio. And this was not the right call to go onto Showmaker. The Q didn't connect from Peanut, as you mentioned, but this is kind of like one of those, you know that old ad that's like, you wouldn't download a car, right? It's like, you wouldn't go over the wall onto an Ornn, right? Well, this is Tank Ryze, so you certainly wouldn't do that either, right? You wouldn't actually go onto this Ryze, right?
Yeah. You get what you paid for, phone. I know exactly the one you're talking about. As in goes Canyon, looks for Ophelia, and we'll find him. Realm Warp to come forward as well, and that's going to deliver both of the solo laners right on top of the chicken. And yep, fortunately, there is nowhere that Ophelia is going to go here.
Yep, and this is just too much of a lead here for Dom1Kia now. Not in the gold, but in the Infernal Drake, the mobility, and this Ezreal who will just carry this game on his own. And there's just not much you can do about this as GenG. Your comp relies on you to run at people
This is still feeling a little bit 50-50-ish. It's a little bit frightening. We do have Crescent Guard available here, so Canyon can get rid of Peanut, theoretically. As now Bertle over the wall, Tactical Sweep's going to come through. He does have his stopwatch and is going to use it. Flash out of the way from Showmaker to try and avoid the zap. As now Bertle getting kited here. He will go down, but the Baron is focused from Damwon Kia, and they will just make their escape.
And Ezreal is at nearly full health, and so as a result, GenG cannot come in here to look for anything, cannot try to punish. As we're going to go back to this pick here onto Ophelia. Ruler super low. Realm Warp also committed to, so you're stuck here. Ruler paths correctly upwards. Ophelia isn't so lucky. Is just going to get blown up. Not as mobile. And this fight, you know, it's a lot of heroics. Like you said, it was fairly risky because Peanut has a free angle to try to jump in there, but they block him. The Bertle comes over here and commits. Nice stopwatch, and everybody on GenG is just completely pushed away as Duckdom continues to queue over the wall. And when he doesn't have his Q, he's just autoing the Baron. So yes, you do end up getting the Camille. Well, there's nothing you can do after that. And now Baron buff attached to this GenG roster that already have so much pushing power. Gonna be something that basically guarantees them prio for this Elder. I mean, the timing of this couldn't be basically more perfect. 2 minutes on the Baron buff, 2:15 on the Elder.
Yeah, can use the Baron to get all of their waves in order, and then Damwon Kia just march their way towards the river.
That's the script. We'll find out if Damwon Kia go off script or if GenG rip the pages out, but
in the next episode.
Right now it's looking like this game is pretty much locked up, unless we see some crazy heroics.
Well, it is going to be a little bit of comeback gold there from Ruler, who's pushing very far forward. The flash forward from Lehen's not quite going to work out, though, as Damwon Kia are going for a bit of a base race. It is going to be the top side of the map that they're focused on. And with a Baron, as well as this Ezreal that has so much damage, they will be able to win out.
Yeah, they're going to get this inhibitor, and this is the opposite inhibitor to the Elder. So someone will have to clean this up. Someone is going to have to...
They don't get the inhibitor.
Don't commit to it. All right. Curiously, with all the damage there, I think if they stayed for like 2 more seconds, they get it 100%. But they didn't have vision of the backs on GenG, at least not all of them, so decided it was the safer call to back away. If they had gotten that inhibitor, it would have forced somebody to clean it up, probably Doran, who would then have to teleport into the fight late. But they don't actually commit all the way. Playing it safer, want to instead just try to push out bottom and mid.
But like,
and get
as
that
you
prio.
can see, like, Wolf, the Baron power plate's 32 gold. This is what happens when you manage to get 2 turrets and you have those bounty rewards, right? It's like, Damwon Kia are like, yes, we can go for a base race, but like, what do you get?
Well, also,
they're
if you don't
giving
commit,
money.
If you don't commit to getting the inhibitor, you get 1 turret on the top side, but that is all you get.
Yeah, there's like no inherent pressure, actually. It's like, yes, they have an avenue if they want to just win the game after a team fight.
I thought it was a great call if you get the inhibitor, but they were a little bit too afraid. They got cold feet at the last possible second. Now, they are going to get prio here in the mid lane. And they're going to get some deep vision, and Ezreal is just going to be taking pot shots. It's fish in a barrel. Anyone on GenG who tries to walk towards this Drake, they'll actually grab this turret as well. So they'll at least end Baron buff with positive. Well, actually, not quite. We'll get this after the Baron buff expires.
13 seconds.
This is the game-winning fight for either of these teams, basically, but the prio still goes to Damwon Kia, despite the living inhibitor on the top side of the map. They still get the prio.
Indeed. Well, and that's a dredge line that you didn't really want to take, as it was slightly missed there for Lehen's.
Ruler
Rush just does so much damage. Showmaker trying to get this work done as well. Heroic entrance from Ophelia, but oh, it's a heroic sacrifice by the looks of things to me. As GenG, they lose their Galio, and it just feels like Damwon Kia are way too far ahead. Duckdom, Arcane shifting forward, Ruler having to walk his way back, and this Elder should just belong to Damwon.
And Duckdom, I mean, all it takes is 1 True Shot barrage like that, and Ruler can't be anywhere near the fight. They get the pick onto the Galio, and Doran, what are you going to try for here?
All right, Lehen's, can you find any heroics? The answer is absolutely not, as there is the Realm Warp. Ruler is going to flash to get himself into this brush. Oh my god, it's cute. But the dragon will end up taking him down, as, Bertle with a big old dragon off his shoulder as well. And now Damwon Kia with, I guess, the top lane that they have opened earlier. Could wander their way through, but
Doran,
they are hungry for some kills first.
Doran's is buying time. He's going to use his riposte here to get like 2 more seconds onto the board for some respawns. Ophelia is going to be up here, no ultimate. Try for the heroic taunt, you know, but this one's well and truly locked up now. GenG just not able to win any team fights with a pylon composition. Won a lot of skirmishes with the mid game as down he goes after his stopwatch. Down he goes.
Oh, poor Ophelia. Oh, it is going to be Dalmonkia now just getting rid of these Nexus turrets, and this time around, the composition absolutely worked out. Loved the counter pick towards that bottom side of the map. Dr. Kellen playing this one out very, very well. But Dalmonkia, they will bring us to a game number 3, exactly what we all wanted, with a much better draft this time. I think GenG had a few things to look at, but we've got the cup.